Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And here we are looking at the masked hero, the Time Traveler. And she has a very special piece of gear equipped to her. It is a weapon unique to her and her only. So when equipped by masked hero, the Time Traveler increases attack by 10%. Now, this is not any different from, giving her a normal space sword, right? I could do this, and while it's not as high awakened, it's still 10% attack by a space character. But this one is specific to the masked hero, and it is 100% free to play. You do not have to you don't have to pay money for this sword. All you have to do is beat a certain quest in a specific way. And that's what we're going to look at today. This sword has been available since the Masked Hero originally came out for the half anniversary 2 years ago, and it's gotten considerably easier to acquire it since then. So what you have to do is you have to go into the story quest, Chapter 12? Chapter 13. Stage 8 on Expert difficulty with this question mark EP requirement called Unlock. And if we take a look at it, you're going to fight the hero and Hinata. Hinata first, and then you move on to the hero. Now, what makes the stage so difficult is that as soon as you enter the fight, Hinata puts massive amounts of debuffs on your entire front line. Nerfs attack, defense, crit rate, crit damage, pierce power. This makes her difficult to deal with if you're a new player. But you have to kill her. And once you kill her, you will move on to fight the Masked Hero. And the Masked Hero has the opposite problem, where she buffs herself by an insane amount. 300% attack, light attack, guaranteed crit, 100% crit damage, pierce power, guard, and super guard. And she has 204,000 HP. And as soon as you enter the second part of the fight with the Masked Hero, she gives herself an ult, which means that if you let her live, she will completely 100% wipe your front line. And there's only one thing you can do about that, and that's use the idle team. But today we're going to go in here and we're going to use the new Diablo and the new Violet to take out the Masked Hero, so you can get her free sword. And since the stage came out 2 years ago, it's not nearly as difficult to do. EX ults were not a thing back then. Power creep and big time buffs were certainly not at the same levels as they are today. But there is a certain way you have to do it. And that is to live long enough and get enough buffs to actually do 204,000 damage, especially with an AoE ult, right? Diablo's AoE. You could certainly nuke with Jean. I mean, I don't, but because I want to show off Diablo. But we've got Violet, we've got Diablo, and then we've got Orb Changers. Orb Changers in the front line who have no weapons on. Because I want to make Hinata live as long as possible to get Diablo a decent amount of stacks, and more importantly, give him enough ult gauge and skill points to use Jean's buffs and Diablo's buffs, which are fairly expensive. So these three units, Rimuru's free to play, Geld's free to play, Trainee is pretty old. None of them have attack gear on, because I want them to be as weak as possible, so we do as little damage to Hinata as possible. And then when we're ready, we'll get some ult gauge for Diablo and move on. Now, what makes Violet so good is that because we're bringing Trainee, she has the ability to give your highest attacking unit 35% ult gauge, right? That's going to be Diablo. And since Violet lets us use skills an unlimited amount of times in one turn, we can just use Trainee 4 or 5 times and just get an EX ult for Diablo. And you don't have to bring Trainee. You could bring someone else that does that. If you have Konosuba Aqua, if you have the Warrior's Mind Rimuru, you could certainly do that. But I'm bringing her because she's yet another Orb Changer, and, she's able to rush stuff. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'll kind of show you guys how this is supposed to run, and then I'll make a cut, and I'll bring us back to where we are about to move on to the hero stage. So, we enter the fight, Hinata comes in, cool, and then immediately our entire front line is nerfed. Boom, right there. Awesome. That's actually pretty good, because I don't want them to do a lot of damage. Here, I mean, we could do this, and we just send blue orbs. As little damage as physically possible is what we're looking to do, because I just want stacks of Violet to go onto Diablo, and to get more points. And that's essentially what you're going to do this entire fight. So, I mean, that's a okay hand right there. We can make it work a little bit. Let's use Rimru's Orb Change, I guess. And then, since we have a stack of Violet, let's bring Diablo in for Trainee, I guess, because she has no orbs. And then we'll put a stack on him. And since he's the only Primal Demon up the front line, he's the only one going to get buffed. And now, I mean, we can just leave him there, I guess, because we'll just do this. And now we've got 75 points to work with. And that's essentially what you're going to do for the next 5-6 turns, is just get a lot of protection gauge and stack it all on Diablo. And make sure that you're only hitting Hinata with your attack-lowered characters or Jean in the back, who has no attack gear on either. And you're going to send her first, not last. So, let's put another stack on Diablo. And then, let's see, what can we do here? We could do the steal again, or not steal, but orb change here. And we can bring Trainee in for Diablo. And then use her orb change. Boom. Full hand of blues. That's going to give us a lot of points. A double protector, so again, next turn we bring Diablo in. We put more stacks on him, and we're just going to do that for another, like, 5 turns or so. So I'm going to make a cut, and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to move on. I think on turn 5 she gives herself extra defense, so it makes her a little bit tankier, which is good. But yeah, we'll come back in a bit. Okay, we are back. We are pretty much ready to go ahead and nuke, because we've got a pretty good turn here, so we're going to, let's see, orb change with Trainee. That'll give us a full hand of blue. And then what I can do is I can take Rimuru out of here, because he's not necessary. We'll bring Diablo in, and then we'll use the orb giveaway to go all to Diablo. He has a highest attack stat. Alright, cool. And now we're going to, raise the stack even higher. Certainly, with the difficulty of the stage nowadays, you don't need to go 9 turns. I don't think you even need, an EX ult, but we're going to do it anyways. So now, let's bring in Jean for Geld, because, we're going to get a blue from this. Cool. And now, let's use just a bunch of stacks of the alt gauge. Boom. And then we're just going to buff Diablo up to an EX ult, and then we'll move on. I mean, I don't think we have to do this, because we're going to get it here. Yeah, perfect. So we'll get 483 points. Diablo has the EX ult now. We'll move on to the hero portion of the fight. I won't watch this cutscene, so, if you're a new player, you can watch it for yourself. So skip this, and then the hero comes in, and she immediately gives herself a literal butt ton of buffs. So attack, light attack, crit, pierce, crit damage, pierce damage, guard, super guard. So you have to nuke this stage. She only has 204,000 HP, so, I mean, we're gonna completely destroy the hero here with this Diablo. Even him being AoE, we have way too much power here. We've been stacking for, the better part of 8 turns, 9 turns. We're gonna do a lot, because we're gonna do all this, right? Physical buff, guaranteed pierce, EX ult, space resistance down, 100% ult. I mean, he's got way too much power for this hero to even try and live. So, let's go ahead and send it. And Diablo does 420, so we did double the damage. So, you didn't need an EX ult to do that. If you were going to use the same amount of buffs, Jean and just Diablo himself, you could have just nuked with a normal ult, and he does half the damage, which is still enough to kill her. So you could have gone, 6 turns, 5 turns maybe, as long as you have enough points. That it's super easy to do nowadays. That power creep is certainly a thing, because this stage originally came out for the half anniversary 2 years ago, and it was built for that level of power. Not so much today. So as soon as you hit next, it'll cut to the numbered cutscene 5, right? And then as soon as this is over and you watch it, you will have a brand new hero sword in your box, ready to use. It's awakened at 1 star, so you gotta raise it up to 6 again, but it comes pre-awakened for you. And it's a free piece of gear. And, while it gives its most stats when being applied on the masked hero, you could put it on anybody, right? It's a free awakened piece of gear, and for newer players, that's going to be super impactful for your damage output. So, I always like to do these videos when teams come out that can do it. I didn't do it for the Tempest Elite team, and Rimuru came out, I'm certain he could do it too. I might do this video again with them as well, just as an example. But that's how you do it with Diablo. It's not really that difficult. But let me know what you guys think. But that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.